Hello and welcome back to Language Clinic channel. Today we are going to delve deep into the Shelley's poetry. Shelley is one of the greatest romantic poetry in English, not only in English but also all over the world. Today we are going to ponder over Shelley's idealism or Shelley's philosophy of life, or we are going to consider him as a poet of rebellion, or we are going to talk about Shelley as a revolutionary poet, or we are going to consider him as an ideal poet. We are going to talk about his prophetic quality in his poems. We will try to allude to uh, two different poems called To a Skylark and Ode to the West Wind. Okay, now let's go back without any delay. It is universally acknowledged that romantic poets are believed to convey newness and novelty in their thinkings and views. Shelley, as a romantic poet, is especially renowned for his idealism depicted in his different poems. He cherished the dream of revolution in order to bring certain changes in human life. As a romantic poet, Shelley chose the aspects of nature as the best abode to exercise his potential genius. Idealism is one kind of positive and optimistic view of lives. Idealism also consists in one's optimism of bringing constructive changes required for the peace and well being of the mankind. Shelley's idealism lies in his optimism and regenerative thinking. In his Ode to the West Wind, he conveys certain messages by which he wants the West Wind to eradicate adversities of the whole civilization. The whole mankind appeared as the victim of pessimism. He depicted the West Wind as the regenerative force of nature which might raise commotion all over the universe. He found the whole world filled with the dormant possibilities, but the world lacked the spirit of regeneration. The poet wanted to get accompanied by the mighty west wind. The torments and the afflictions of life seemed to have been burdened with the thorns of life. He longed to escape from the thorny elements of life. The whole mankind is supposed to be unawakened. The poet wanted the west wind to awaken the deadened thoughts of man, as the poet says in his poem, drive my dead thoughts over the universe like withered leaves to quicken a new birth. His thinking and views were of universal appeal. He was fond of proclaiming his prophecy based on optimistic dream and aspiration. He was never individualistic. He used to cherish the dream to shake the whole mankind. Shelley was against all the religious taboos and dogmatism. He sought spiritual flourishment emerging from the scientific attitude. Shelley was idealistic in proclaiming the constructive trends of human being or mankind. He is thought to have seen the evils as omnipresent. He also expedited the world to be away from the evils. In his poem Ode to the West Wind, he mentions the term pestilence. Pestilence strike in multitudes by which the whole world is meant to be mentally decayed. The poet here says, the trumpet of a prophecy, O wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Shelley was a poet filled with the prophecy of originating a newer world. Uh, the above lines of his poem indicate his optimism. His idealism is likely to be reflected in most of his optimistic expressions. Shelley's idealism is found in possessing certain spirit by which he wanted to be enlightened. He desired to be sheltered in the running waves of the west wind. In his another poem, Ode to a Skylark, a bird has been depicted as the spirit and the embodiment of his dream. The poet says, Teach me half thy gladness, thy brain, that thy brain must know. His idealism of being taught by the bird has been pictured in the poem. He addressed the bird to be gifted with invisible and perennial music. It was not a mere bird as mentioned in the poem. As a man, he sought to overcome the miseries of life by the teaching of the bird. His idealistic outlook was not linked only with the joyous pictures of life. His thinking was to liberate the whole world full of the dark objects of life. His ideals also exist in universalizing the joys and sorrows of human life. Shelley used to believe that joy and sorrow coexist in human life, they appear by turns. So he says, our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought. It reflects that our highest delights are based on painful existence. The happy spirit of the skylark appears to be a joyous being and a representative of the immortal happiness similar to that of heaven. Shelley's idealism is also reflected in his appreciation to shake the whole mankind. He was not pleased to keep his idealistic view hidden from the sight of man rather than he wanted to preach and spread his message. Optimism and hopeful attitude need to be scattered among the whole mankind. The whole mankind would listen to him as he kept listening to the bird. By destroying the curses of the whole mankind and by preserving the ideals, poet Shelley thought of overcoming all the miseries. Shelley had a dream of an ideal world furnished with optimism, dream of a regeneration, revolution, and the message of designing a newer and better world for the whole mankind in the days to come. Shelley wanted to be infatuated and imbued with the force of nature, so he says, be thou, spirit fierce, my spirit, be thou me, impetuous one. He sought the spirit of the wind to be infused in him, so that he may be entitled to awaken the unawakened earth. He observed the world lacking in regenerative thoughts and views, so he entreated the wind to scatter his message as it spreads the ashes and sparks from an unextinguished health. His optimism has been manifested as his idealism, showing his profound creative and regenerative thoughts for the whole mankind in the days to come. He was against the taboos and prejudices of his time, causing great miseries to mankind. He was a progressive minded personality, and both the poems Ode to West Wind and so, okay, thank you.